Welcome to That Heartbreak Hogs podcast. If you are new here, please consider hitting that thumbs up and hitting that subscribe button. Please comment down below your thoughts on our takes. And with that being said, we are going to head into the video that you came here for. All right. Happy holidays, everybody. We took a little time off, but we're back now. We're just going to talk a little bit about the bowl game. Just ending thoughts on the season and what's currently going on as of January the 7th when we're recording this. What's going on with the transfer portal and how we're feeling about the overall program. I'll start here by saying if you look at predictions beginning of the year, 6-7 wins, 6 wins, but with the bowl game, I think Vegas had us at about 4.5 or 5 wins. You and I wanted a minimum of 7 regular season wins that we would just be like, but like, I guess we'd kind of take. We really wanted 8 or more. They are moving forward. I'll give them that it's like at least we made a bowl game versus not. Like that's a decent standard to start with, that it's like, hey, just don't get less than 6. But the thing is I'm kind of thinking to myself, what happens if he does get less than 6 again 3 years from down the road from now? Like what if he goes 7 next year and then goes 5? Have we set a new standard here of 6 is now the standard, and then if we get more than 6, is that the next standard? I guess what I'm trying to get at is that I'm not happy with it, but I'm not super disappointed, as in at least like we didn't make a bowl game and at least we won our bowl game. So it was kind of nice to at least finish the season with a win, because let's be honest here, bowl games don't really mean anything, but if you lose the bowl game, it means something. That's whenever you're like, really? Oh, we're losers. So I'm feeling a little bit better, but I'm still like meh with the season, because the Tennessee win was awesome, but how good was Tennessee? And then I felt like we'd won all the games that we should have won outside of Oklahoma State, and we lost all the games that we were expected to lose outside of Tennessee. So it kind of evened itself out. But for next year, at least for me, I think that you need to at least get 7 or 8 wins for
Regular
it to feel
season.
better. Yeah, for the regular season. 6 would be disappointing, even though the schedule looks tougher. It's like, come on, win some more games. Let's see some progress here. Mediocre is just, it's going to be a tough pill to swallow if that's really the goal of the program. And the more I watched this season, it's kind of looking like we might be going towards that direction, in that direction. How did you feel about how the season unfolded? Your expectations right before the season versus right whenever we finished, looking it over, and then what do you expect for next season?
I mean, so I'll say this: at the start of the season, when we were doing predictions, I had 7-5 as my
Yep, you
initial
did.
record for the season.
You had us
Um,
beating Mizzou.
I had us beating Mizzou, yeah, and that would have gotten us there.
That would have
But
gotten 7-5, man. You were almost
uh,
on the money.
yeah, um, I saw our coach in that game. I think we talked about it, but just sitting up top. I don't know actually if we talked about it, but yeah, we did. He was sitting up top in the booth. I know it was injuries, and we don't know what was wrong with him, but it was just
Right, for the Mizzou
um,
game you're talking about, right?
for the Mizzou game, for that snow game where um, they kept panning to him, and it was just like looked like he was like Darth Vader. Like you couldn't see his face, and it was like all dark up there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. It was a little embarrassing, but it was comical, and I'm nothing. I'm rooting for his health, and there's nothing bad I'm against Coach Pittman that I have. It's just kind of a bad look
Yeah,
when your players are kind of freezing their butts off and everyone else is freezing their butts off on the ground, and
right.
you're up there and you lose. On top of that, of course.
Mhm.
So on top of that, moving aside from that game, Texas Tech,
Mhm.
the bowl game, opposite of being embarrassed, that was great to see. I was out
Yeah.
like watching the game with friends, and I mean, the whole place was just kept clapping and clapping and clapping because this whole game we dominated,
Mhm.
and so that was great to see. I know, I mean, I honestly expected a closer game than that, but we just
Yeah.
dominated that game,
Dominated them.
especially with the players we had going in, and or not going in, players we had going in the portal, and all the other issues. It was just cool to see that it definitely gave me a brighter look for the future. Um, Now I know it's a bowl game and not everyone cares, but
Right,
it
right.
still gets the fans excited.
Right, and
When
again, it's
you
better to
finish the
win
season like that, yeah.
than
If
losing,
we had lost that game, I mean, the fans would be
Yeah.
even at the next
Like,
season, as the
did
start of
you
the next
see
season.
Oklahoma's reaction to
Yeah,
losing to Navy? I mean,
yeah.
they couldn't believe it. They are ready to burn that place down. And
It's
it's
gonna
like
be yeah.
we all know bowl games don't mean anything, but if you're on the losing end of it,
Mhm.
it stings. It's just like, oh my gosh.
All year, you're gonna be thinking about that last game, and that last game was Texas Tech, and that was the domination, and at least we can rest easy. I know the record, isn't the best, and I know all Razorback fans, I mean, when I say this, would hope for and would really want a better record,
Right.
and we all know how tough our schedule is next year. Don't get me wrong, but as a Razorback fan, we have hope.
Mhm.
We have hope to go better than 6-6. I know the tougher schedule, and we've talked about this season.
Mhm.
Yes, the schedule gets tougher. Schedule
Mhm.
gets tougher, but this is where you develop players this offseason and till you get to that first game. Like this is the perfect time to see who you're. I mean, I know we have Taylor Green. He's coming back, and he
Yeah.
looked great in that last game. And we have
Mhm.
another guy um, coming from the Nico's brother coming in.
Yeah.
Um,
That'll
there's
be
going to be some
interesting.
competition. I want to see some competition and see some competitors because I see it from that Texas game. I
Yeah.
like our Tech game, but there are competitors out on that field. We just need to
Right.
develop them, and this is the time to develop them. This is Bobby's going to be his second year
Gonna be a
under
second
this
year. This is
offense.
the
So,
one.
like,
This is the year everybody's been calling for, saying
exactly,
that in year two, Bobby. This is why we keep him.
there's
Is
no
year two?
excuses,
He's
right?
supposed to have this huge change, and that the offense is supposed to automatically get so much better in the red zone. So
Yeah.
we're supposed to be getting more touchdowns next year.
When we talk about a tougher schedule, that sounds like an excuse to me. I don't
Yep.
want it to be an excuse.
No.
I want it to be known that we have all the way up until the first game
Mm-hmm.
to get ready, and I want to be ready and not kind of get embarrassed immediately when we start off. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
when we start off with the SEC play, when we start off with the big games. I know we're traveling a lot next year, but all these sound like excuses that we're already aware of and we can prepare for.
Right.
And these are not excuses that come up during the season. These are excuses that we're like thinking about well before the season has even started. So I hope the coaches know that. I hope they're not just kind of making excuses as well and are okay with next year being a 6-6 season because that's not a good enough excuse to
Mm-mm.
be it's a tough schedule coming up.
No.
And so I just hope we keep developing these players, and I hope even I hope we're able to recruit players from this game as well, from that Tech game, and we're able to keep players with all this stuff going on with Russell and whatnot. I just hope
Oof. I
players want to
know,
be.
right?
I just hope players want to be on this team and
Mhm.
um, kind of want to. I think that's what gets them to be great, better than good. If
Mhm.
they really truly want to win and truly want to be play for that team, instead of kind of caring about their own stat or caring about the like this little thing. Um,
Your favorite move, huh?
my favorite move. I just hope that happens. That all happens, and that's what we see unfold. And like you said, great to end the season on a win.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. For me, it's we've got to at least do better than 6-6 in the regular season. I'm hoping for 8 or 9, obviously. I think 9 would get you on that bubble for the playoff, and that should be the goal of the program is get to the playoff. And especially with it at 12 now, and there are still talks about it getting even bigger. They want more games, and they're going to find ways to make these games more competitive and better games and not just blowouts. But that should be the goal is to get into the playoff. And I do think that they have the resources to make it
Oh man,
happen.
the only thing, um, I mean, I just saw this because I just pulled it up, but Desmond James
Yeah.
had a heck of a game. Just
Yep.
saw that he's expected to enter the transfer portal, though.
Hmm.
That sucks. There's
Yeah.
nothing about it. That just sucks. But
Yeah.
it comes back to what I said earlier. I think we're I think we have time to get players, develop them up until the season starts.
Yeah.
Um, was he good? Yes. Can we get a player that is also another player that's good? Absolutely. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why not?
And they've
I
got
mean,
some
we had
guys
no.
coming in.
I thought
They
Tesla was going
do.
to be the leader for and receiving for this game. He wasn't. We will have
That's
guys
true.
that pop up um, and show out. So I think we're able to.
Yeah. I don't know. It's the portal's a beast, man, and here's the thing too is there's going to be spring portal as well.
Yeah,
And it's just there's really no way of knowing what our team is going to look like until after, the spring portal season. And that's why I want to like restrain from actually doing predictions themselves, but I think the goal should be is we need to get 7 to 9 wins. I mean, obviously,
I
if you can
think
get more, do
that's
more than that. But
that's not a prediction when you're saying this. It's just saying you want us
yeah,
to be better
I
than
want us to be
what we're.
better. I do not want to sit at six and
Yeah,
six again, and I do not want to be below six or below 6-6. And I think that if we go 6-6 again or 5-7, and we keep Pittman and the rest of the coaching staff, I think that will be very telling
yeah. One
of
quick thing I was
what the
gonna
goals
say,
are.
and I was gonna ask was, you had talked about this all season about we need 8 or Pittman is gone or Pittman should leave,
Hmm.
or maybe we should look somewhere else. Are you after this Tech game? Are you still iffy on Pittman? Are you like for Pittman? Are you against Pittman? Where do you stand?
I think he probably should have been let go if he was anywhere else. But I also think that revenue sharing has had an impact on coaches being fired. If you look nowhere else in the SEC, I don't think any coach in the SEC was fired. And North
Mhm.
Carolina did something that like nobody else has done, which was fire coach. So I think that revenue sharing is what saved Pittman's job. Just preparing for that situation, but moving forward, I think that he needs to get to 7 or 8 wins, more in the 8 department. I think 7 could keep him his job though. 6, it's like, come on, man. Like, what are we
Yeah,
doing here? What are we doing here? Like,
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
time for change at that point. It just is. It's like, what are we doing here?
I get like, yeah, if a coach, like, I truly think when Pittman came here, he truly wanted to be here. And I still think there's a
Yeah.
possibility he still wants to be here.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
still
yeah.
wants us
He does.
the best for this team. And I still do think that. It's just performance. If you're not able to kind of live up to it,
Yeah.
people will doubt you and people will come after you, especially in the SEC where
Yeah.
it's so competitive. Like it's not if like 6-6 isn't good enough. I don't like
Yeah.
you can't just say, oh, if we were in a different conference, we would be better. Sure, but we're not. And you're getting paid to be in this conference.
Right.
And
And if
um,
you go to like SEC pages, other SEC related podcast pages, anytime that they post anything related to Arkansas, there's a bunch of fans that get on those pages and are just posting left and right about Pittman not being it, or 6-6 should not be where we're at. There's a
mhm,
loud voice, and I know it's, you could say it's the vocal minority or whatever, but you don't see this on a lot of other fan bases. They
yeah,
do expect more. Hog fans do, and I I think there is an expectation here. It has been done. Petrino got us to 11-2. Like he did.
mhm,
Houston Nutt had, I think, one or two 10-win seasons. Definitely had at least one. It's doable here, and the SEC is kind of regressing a little bit. It looks like it's kind of up for the taking. Alabama and Georgia aren't what they've been. You know,
yeah.
Oklahoma coming in hasn't done anything.
This is the time where it can be anyone's
I mean, you've
like,
got Ole Miss,
yeah.
Ole
Mizzou.
Miss, Mizzou, Ole Miss
Have you
doing
seen Mizzou
phenomenal
Stadium?
things. Well, why can't Arkansas? It's just
Nothing
like,
against nothing against Mizzou. Have you seen their stadium? You saw it on the game, but
yeah.
like compared to our stadium,
Oh,
it's
I know.
nuts. Like
I
what we
know.
have and what we're capable of.
Yeah. No, no, for real. And I think that some of the leaders of the program have been against NIL. They've been against adapting with NIL. And instead of finding clever ways to use it to their advantage, they've been fighting it.
Mhm.
And I think that that's really pushed us back. And that's why they've been calling, for us not having NIL money until recently. And we seem to have claim that we have this NIL money now, but we're not landing the top prospects. I think that we did grab some nice like blue collar guys, if you will, like guys that are kind of they're studs, but they're not under the light as much. And I'm interested to see how that works out. But it's just like, there's got to be some progression here. There can't be
Yeah,
progression and then
no,
regression,
for sure.
progression, regression. It's got to keep going up, and it's got to get to the point where we expect 8 to 10 wins in a spot
Exactly.
in that football playoff every other year, every 3 years, every year. It's got to, the college football
That
playoffs
brings
got
up
to
a
get
good
into the
point. Yeah.
goal.
Brings up a good point. Like finding a diamond in the rough, like in terms of players, is great.
Hmm.
Every team wants that, but
Yeah.
it's the teams that continuously don't have to do that, and they continuously just are able to keep and get great players are
Hmm.
going to be the ones that are going to be consistent in outperforming year after year,
Yeah.
and not just having 1 year great, 1 year okay, 1 year mediocre, 1 year better than the other.
And
Um,
I think they're trying to miss out on the
yeah,
Hollywood guys. Like, I think that they're not going for those guys. Like, they want to find the diamonds in the rough because they
yeah,
think that they'll play harder, and try to earn that spot where sometimes you get those Hollywood guys and they're just there for their shine, their bling, their glory, their, them, me.
sure.
And then it all collapses around you because you have a bunch of eyes and you don't have a team. And maybe that's kind of where
Yeah,
they're trying to go, but a lot of teams are trying to do that too. It's not
but
just
exact
us doing
and
that,
it's
like you were
tough.
saying.
to
you
do
know.
in the SEC.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, we've had year after year.
So
We've
we'll
always
we'll
had.
see if it works out. Like we'll
I'm not talking
see.
about like we've
You
always had
know.
diamond in the roughs. We've
Yeah.
always had these one like these great players, but I'm talking about a
Yeah.
team of
Yeah. They
great
started here
players.
and then they ended Ole Miss.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, I mean, I'm just talking about like yeah, all times we've
Yeah.
had great players that come out of here, but I want
Yeah.
a great team that comes out of here,
I know.
not
It's
just a
been a
great
while.
player.
Yep. Yep.
And I would rather have that than anything
Like
else. Yeah.
even that team in 2021 with Burks, you know,
Mhm.
that was a really good team. I'd like to see a team like that and then build off of that and get one better than that. You know,
Right.
make that Burks team with KJ and Burks and all them, Bumper Pool, make that the standard. Like that's where the
Right.
standard is, and then you either go there or you go a step above. You
Right.
know, that I feel like should be the standard, the 2021 team. That or more. You know, where you're in ball games, you know, like you're in a I think they finished 8-4 and then they lost it by 1 point against Ole Miss. So they were in a close game with some of their other games, you know. But I think 8 wins needs to be like that benchmark. But I think we need to close this episode out and move on to the next. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll keep an eye on the transfer portal and hopefully they get some, you know, a couple big names, but hopefully these blue collar guys, you know, work out and some of these diamonds in the rough creates a team like you were saying, Sid, and we get some
Yeah.
guys that come in and have some camaraderie rather than a bunch of eyes, you know, bunch of me's.
Yeah. All in all, I mean, a great game. One last thing about the Texas Tech game. I don't know if you saw this, if I like should bring it up, but like it was going around on videos about that one player, kind of intentionally hurting,
Yeah,
the guy on
Carmona.
Tech. I don't want that. I mean, and as a
Yeah,
Razorback fan, we don't know. Like, we're not. Yeah, no one wants that. I don't care
I
if I was
thought the
against
same
that
thing
team.
when I saw it. I was just like, dude, I don't want to see that crap. Um,
Yeah.
I'm glad that the guy wasn't hurt, and it
Mhm.
was kind of weird that he started posting that whenever he like came back into the game. Like he didn't
Mhm.
break his ankle, nothing happened.
Right.
He was like out for a play, and then he came back. So it's kind of like, bro, why are you even posting that? But at the same time, like it looked worse than it was, but it still is like, don't even put yourself in that position where you
Right.
could possibly break somebody's like ankle like that.
Right.
Like, well,
Right. Because you're like, as a player, I mean, as all these players are, I mean, are young. They make
yeah.
stupid mistakes, but know
Because
that
if
you're
it
gonna
did
have
break
to
his
own it.
ankle,
Yeah.
it would have been really bad. Like that
And
would have been a terrible look for the
right.
program.
I know it's
Like
gonna look bad
really
on
bad.
not even just the program, it's gonna yeah, especially the program, but it's also gonna look bad on him. Like that, like,
Hmm.
it's gonna look bad on that player and his future draft prospect as well. So, just yeah, honestly, that's I just wanted to bring that up real quickly. I know he
He
knows, and it
apologized.
as a
He
young
took
player,
care of
yeah,
it.
they make mistakes, so, yeah.
Yeah.
That's all, but I'm glad for, again, a great win,
Glad for
dominating
the
win,
win.
and a good way to end the season.
Yes, sir. All right. Well, let's head on to the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. We really do appreciate it. Again, please consider hitting that like button, subscribing to our channel, and commenting down below. We'll see you guys in the next video.